Cassandra Valdez. I'm the Senior Director of Sales Enablement at Hello Heart. Team of one, starting up enablement from scratch at Hello Heart about 3 years ago, and prior to spent about 3 years at another organization also building enablement as a team of one from scratch. So a lot of the heavy lifting, actually, being the first person into enablement and building it from the ground up. I live in Chicago. I've worked across healthcare, which is in the current industry which I work in, and then in the language and higher ed space as well. Yeah, some of the unique challenges that our sellers face in the healthcare industry are that there is, we call it like a three-legged stool. So you have multiple stakeholders that you have to engage, and each one of them is going to need different type of messaging for what they care about. So we work with channel partners, we work with consultants, and then we work with our actual end customer as well. So all of those messages need to be tailored, and that can be really challenging. What does the consultant care about in relation to our solution and what it can offer versus the benefits leader? So that can make it really challenging for our sales team. I think having one place where everyone across our go-to-market teams can find all of the material, so specifically related to working across those different stakeholders, understanding and putting myself as a seller in the different channel partner shoes and understanding what's going on throughout the year, the benefits cycle and review cycle, so that they can tailor their message accordingly. Everyone sees that across the teams, from the sales team to our customer success team. So finding a centralized place and ensuring that the field teams feel like the material is fresh and they have a lot of confidence that they're going to find that content in a singular place has really been transformative, I think, for our organization. Particularly for what we call them channel partner management team. And so we really, early on post-launch of Highspot, we had a lot of gravitation toward an adoption of digital sales rooms. And that was surprising to me, actually. I thought there was going to be a lot of resistance to it, but it wasn't. So that was a major success. And our channel management team, as we launch a new partner, put together an enablement digital sales room toolkit for those partners to help them understand, what to know about us. What do they need to say? How do they need to engage with our teams? Who are the right types of their customers that might be a good fit for our solution? And then in the reverse, right, back to our internal teams. What do we need to know, say, and do as we interact and engage with this new partner? So that's, in a nutshell, how our partner team utilizes Highspot to engage with our and make those partner launches successful. We implemented Highspot a couple of years ago. I was responsible for really project managing the launch, then actually executing on a lot of it as well. So as a single enablement person with a very small marketing team, really drove that. So understanding that all of the stakeholders and understanding their personalities as we were approaching launch, making sure that you've got some of those louder sales reps that usually are resistant to change on your side, and co-creating even the things like the design of the homepage and the types of spots that they might gravitate toward, and understanding and getting into their shoes of how they would navigate. I think that helped set us up for success. So doing lots of interviews. We did a field interview prior to our implementation and asked them, like, what's the issue now with finding material? So 4 or 5 different sources of locations, and it takes me 5 or 6 hours per week to find and customize content. So doing that pre-survey and then a post-survey, I think also like reiterated the value, especially just by even taking the survey. Oh yeah, now I have one-stop shop versus 4 or 5 different places where I'm looking for content. So I think engaging different stakeholders and field users who are ultimately our customers, who are ultimately going to use the platform, getting them involved, getting them a little sneak peek, and then finally launching it sort of in a phased approach. So we launched first with one of our sales teams and then rolled that out over time much more quickly than we were expecting because we had a lot of FOMO after we launched. But once we launched with a specific team, we were able to get some feedback, make some slight adjustments to not only the training and how we rolled it out, but to the platform itself, and then continue to roll it out to the rest of the go-to-market teams. So some of the business outcomes and key wins that we've seen across our organization as we launched Highspot, even hearing from or joining our sales team calls and hearing our sales team say, hey, I thought this deal was stagnant, but I refreshed my digital sales room and then saw all of this engagement and got that real-time analysis to give me insight on this deal's probably not stalled, and in fact they're actually sharing content with other folks inside their organization. I feel like that in and of itself is a true testament to the value at the rep level of utilizing something like a digital sales room. Some of the other outcomes, I think, as we look at Highspot engagement, we see over 90% consistently quarter over quarter of our folks across go-to-market, not just those that are actually sending content externally, but people asking us, can we have a license to Highspot? We're not necessarily in go-to-market, but we find it to be such a great centralized resource. And so even aside some of those folks that are kind of stragglers outside of go-to-market, we see 92 plus percentage of continued engagement and within the platform, and then for our digital sales rooms as well. Something again that really surprised me. We got within 1 month all of our sellers to deploy and utilize digital sales rooms 1 month after launch, when you're already showing them all of the other features and having them get used to that as well. So there's just a strong gravitation to them seeing the value of it, and so I think that's probably the best example, is just them getting insight that they wouldn't have been able to receive on how their buyers are engaging with the content that they're sending, and making sure that, hey, I'm going to still stick with this deal that might be a 2-year sales cycle, because all of a sudden I'm starting to see some engagement when the platform gives me an opportunity to re-engage the audience. First, I had to understand really what the concept was, I think, during the implementation process. And I would say that our Highspot implementation team did such an excellent job helping us think about what those different buckets of use cases of plays would be and what kinds of content should be in there. From there, we really kind of started small. So we didn't want to proliferate lots of different plays, but create some of the key motions that are happening within every single deal cycle on the sales side that we know that people are going to need to come back to repeatedly within every opportunity. So we started small. We really developed some well-curated and well-updated plays, and also where you host them, right? So when we announce something in Slack, if there is a change, we're going to post the play as a reference within our Slack communication. If it's the time of year that we're doing that motion happens, since we have sort of a cyclical sales cycle, that's showcased on our homepage as a promoted play for that particular quarter. And I think that helps drive adoption. And then finally, I'm thinking specifically about process plays. We're using Salesforce targeting, so that if I'm in an opportunity in a particular stage, that is right there in front of me, so I can access it. So trying to get that into every place where sellers might find themselves at the right time throughout the year, depending on what's going on in the sales cycle. best practices I would share as an enablement team of one, starting from absolute scratch, is have a lot of conversations. You've got to talk to so many different people right away to understand what the priorities are, who you're dealing with, what their personalities are. Are they willing to communicate with you and collaborate on a regular cadence? Are they not going to be as willing to engage? Find who those individuals are that that they're willing to partner with you, and start from there instead of trying to eat the entire pizza. I think that was important. And then, because we didn't have Highspot in place when I joined Hello Heart, I was doing a lot of, by nature anyway, asking lots of questions because we didn't have a lot of content created, internal content created. So just doing lots of interviewing, connecting with people, trying to explain to them how by partnering together we can help them as well, and reduce maybe time or drive efficiency, or help them be more successful in what they're trying to achieve. So I think that's kind of how I started in both orgs, is to really create a good network of people, deliver on time and partner with them, and say what you're going to commit to and actually commit to that. That builds trust over time. That way they will continue to maybe help with asks on training and other types of things. But I think that's really the foundation, is just creating a really good foundation of trust and rapport with all of those stakeholders. I mean, where my mind went was maybe kind of filling in the blanks a little bit like AI does, but just thinking about the future potential of being able to answer almost any question and be able to demonstrate, hey, this is a great email that your colleague sent, where maybe I don't have access to that today, and I've got a really high-performing sales rep that has maybe answered that question 100 times via email. So that to me was really powerful. I don't know always that sales reps collaborate that way, but they feel much more comfortable when they're asking those types of questions, where there's not a fear of, maybe this is a dumb, silly question. So I think that was really, really exciting to me, that there's possibilities there to create multiple types of co-pilot agents that create the safety effect of being able to ask any type of question, even if it's kind of silly, to get some answers and help move me on my way, unblock me. Highspot is essential. I think it's a tool that everyone across our go-to-market team embraces and utilizes on a daily basis. I don't know how our go-to-market team would function without having Highspot. I certainly don't want to see where we were a few years ago prior to implementing. So I think it's essential for communication, for consistency, to help our field teams feel unblocked, and for them to be able to go within their day-to-day work to find what they need when they need it.